welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking the Transformers Titan Return Hardhead. Let's take the details of this really cool looking tank mode. So I actually really do like this nice tread design done in black. Lots of nice sculpting. There's actually wheels on the bottom, there's two in the back and one big one in the front done in some nice orange. On the top I really do like this nice orange cockpit, which you can actually get the Typemaster and store it in there, which is pretty cool. There's this really huge cannon here done in grayish brown, looking very cool. Some nice green. There is actually 3 Autobot symbols, 2 on the side, 1 in the middle, very tiny. Nice green, some more brown. Overall, looking very cool. Love the sculpting. This is actually one of my favorite Titan Return figures. One of my favorite. There's several, which I will be taking a look at. A lot of Titan Return figures coming very, very soon, so make sure you stay tuned on the channel for those. Overall, a really cool looking tank mode. So for accessory-wise, he does come with 2. Of course, one being the really cool big cannon, which I will take a look at in just a second. He also comes with this really cool, nice looking green rifle, which is pretty nice. Nice sculpting. Very cool. So that can store on the tank, which I will show in just a second, but let's quickly take a look at the cannons. So here is the really cool looking grayish brown cannon, done very, very nice, which just plugs right into that section right there, which is super cool. So I will show one of the really cool features. You can actually open this up, hinge this back, and you can get the Headmaster or Typemaster and store it in there. It's not the most secure, it's kind of hard to actually get him in there perfectly, but you can just plug this back in there, and you can actually man the cannon, and also, of course, you can store another Typemaster in there, which is super, super cool. I thought that was really nice. If you want to, you could plug the blaster on there, but it can get kind of messy and clunky, so I typically don't. But overall, that's a really cool looking feature in my opinion. I'll get a little bit closer so you can see. Very, very nice. So for storage for the blaster, you just want to close this up just like that. And then you can get the blaster, just plug that on there just like that. And there we have all the weapons stored on the tank, which looks very, very nice. And as for the Typemaster, you just want to lift this section up. As you can see, sculpted inside a little seat, which is pretty cool. And then, as you can see, there is a little slot, and there's a little notch right there, and that just goes right in there. Then you can close that up, and you can actually see inside there the Typemaster sitting, which looks pretty cool in my opinion. He actually rolls around pretty well. Of course, there is only 3 wheels, and this is a cloth surface, so there might be a little bit of grab, but overall, a really cool looking tank. Actually, this is probably one of the most different tanks I've ever seen. There is another one that's actually as similar as this, which is super cool to have something very different every once in a while. So now for some quick Titan Return comparisons. Here he is with Cup from Titan Return in his really cool looking Cybertronian car. Very, very nice. He is much more compact. This one's much more flat and spread out. Looking very cool, which I will be reviewing this figure as well over on the channel. And for another quick Titan Return vehicle mode comparison, here we have Hardhead with Hot Rod from Titan Return, which I will also be reviewing as well. Also another one of my favorite Titan Return figures. Love the car mode. I will never get over this amazing, really cool looking sports car mode. So very, very nice. So that's pretty much it for comparisons, details, and accessories. Let's now get into transformation. Now let's get into transformation. So we're going to want to first is get the Headmaster or Typemaster. You can just fold this up like that, and there we have Hardhead's head, which looks very, very cool. We'll take a closer look at that after transformation. Now we're going to want to get to the tank. You're going to fold this over, and then what you're going to want to do is get the waist section. As you can see, there is a tab and a slot that will just tab into place. You can then untab the leg here. There is a tab and a slot on the inside of the leg. You can then unfold this, tap this into place. You can then get the foot, bring this out, move that up. Do the same thing on the other leg. Bring this out, bring out the foot, and there the leg's pretty much complete. We can then raise up the camera and zoom it out just a tad bit. We can then move this whole assembly. As you can see, there is a slot and a tab that will just tab into place just like this. On tab the arms, there is a peg and a port on the inside there. You can just undo that, hinge this section up, move the arms down just like this, and if we go back here, this whole assembly will move down. As you can see, there is a tab that will just go right into place there, just like that. And then for the arms, these will just unfold just like this, and then you can just bring out the hands. Same thing on the other arm, bring out the hands. And then of course he is missing one key thing, his head. So as you can see, there is a little locking mechanism there. This will just go right in there. And there we have Hardhead, fully transformed, looking very, very cool. Let's take a look at the details. Now let's take a look at the details of this amazing looking robot mode for Hardhead. Starting at the top with this really cool looking head sculpt. I like this nice blue for the visor. We have some nice gray for the main part of the face, some yellow for the mouth guard, and of course for the other part, or the back of the head, is mostly done in green. For the back here, of course, so this is the cockpit of the tank mode, nicely concealed and compressed against the back, so not much kibble. For the arms, mostly done in black with an Autobot symbol on the shoulder, of course one on the other arm as well. For the hands, they're done in green, which looks pretty good. For the main chest section, mostly done in green and that brown, looking very cool. There is actually an Autobot symbol really where the stomach would be, which looks pretty cool. For the waist/crotch section, there is some yellow, some red, and silver, looking pretty good. And for the legs, mostly done with black, brown, and a little bit of red for the wheels, which actually look pretty cool. And for the feet as well, done in black with that nice tread design. So overall, a pretty simple looking figure, but actually a really good looking one. Let's now get into articulation. So for the head, it's on a ball joint, so it can rotate all around. Gonna look a little bit up, a little bit down for the arms. Also on a ball joint, so all the way around. You can move up, down. There is a swivel. There is a bend at the elbow. There is also hand rotation. It can move in, but that's really due to transformation. Unfortunately, there is no waist rotation. You can do the full splits. You can kick that far forward, that far back. And there is a knee bends. There is a swivel all the way around. And there is no ankle tilt. So yeah, this figure was before War for Cybertron Trilogy, so most Titans Return and Power of the Primes figures will not have an ankle tilt, which is unfortunate, but I'm really not going to take much away from that, because this is about a 4 to 5 year old figure. So overall, good articulation, good details. Let's now take a look at the accessories. He does come with two. He comes, of course, with this blaster, or rifle, looking very, very cool. And you can have him hold this in his hand, which does look very cool. Very nice. Also, of course, the huge big cannon from the tank mode, which is pretty cool. So what you can do is you can just go back here, move this up, and you can actually have it pushed out like this if you want to. And of course there is a port and a peg that will just plug right into place, just like that. And there we have Hardhead fully armored up with all of his weapons and accessories. Typically, I probably would have the blaster in the other hand, of course, the opposite side of the cannon on that, because I really don't like having both weapons on one side. It looks kind of weird to me, but that's just my opinion. But overall, that looks really, really cool in my opinion, so very, very nice. And of course, you can angle this cannon back and move it all around to some different angles for a more dynamic pose for some pictures and stop motion. So let's now move into some comparisons. Now for some quick comparisons, here we have Hardhead and Hot Rod from the Titans Return line, looking very, very cool next to each other. Two iconic G1 characters. Really, really good figures that I do highly recommend. Again, I will be reviewing Hot Rod very, very soon over on the channel, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Let's now do one quick modern comparison, just to see how size of the deluxe size figures has changed over the years. Another G1 comparison here, we have G1 Skids from the Legacy line, of course a deluxe size figure, and of course Hardhead from the Titans Return line. Pretty much roughly the same size, I would say, so not a big change. He's actually a little bit taller, but overall two pretty good looking figures next to each other. Let's now move into the final thoughts. Now let's get into the final thoughts for this amazing Titans Return Hardhead figure. Starting in the robot mode, the accessories are really, really good. I do like the blaster and cannon. I really like how the cannon can store on his shoulder. That's super, super cool. Features, I really do like how you can get another Typemaster, of course, the same one that comes with him. You can store it in the cannon, which is super cool, so you can like mount it on his shoulder, or you, of course, you can do the same in the tank mode. I do like how you can see the tank treads on the arms and legs. Actually super cool. Kind of looks like he has armor on from all the little blades. blades. It looks super cool. Very G1 accurate, very G1-esque in feeling. Looks super cool, very accurate to the G1 show. Really good character in that show. I really do like it. Overall articulation is pretty good, very standard for Deluxe. Of course, there is no ankle pivot. I know people are would probably be bothered by it. There's also no waist swivel, but that's due to the transformation, unfortunately. The ankle pivot, that just really wasn't that common at the time for Time to Return and Power of the Primes figures. It really never started until about the War for Cybertron trilogy. That's usually when it became very popular and, of course, very expected in figures. Transformation, it's very simple. You really just kind of folded everything up. It's super simple, actually really fun. It's one of those figures that you can just grab right off the shelf, transform super easy, and it's actually very fun to mess with. Also, the tank mode, a really cool, very nice looking tank mode. It's actually very different. It's a very flat looking tank, but actually I really do like it. Again, if you want to, you can store a Typemaster in the cockpit, of course the orange one, or of course you can store it right on the Canon, and you can of course mount it, which is super cool. I do like how you can store the hand blaster right on there, so he is definitely well armed and ready for battle. So overall, a really cool looking figure. Again, articulation, it isn't the best, but at the time it was actually the best they could really do. Most figures didn't have waist swivel, most figures did not have ankle pivots, so I really don't take much points off for that. Definitely one of my favorite Time to Return figures. Again, if you ever have the opportunity to buy it, highly suggest you do. I'm not really sure how much this figure is going for on the aftermarket, so don't spend like 60 bucks on it, but if you find it for like 35, 100% go for it. Of course, I'm going to do a lot of throwback reviews from Time to Return, Power of the Primes, and a few Combiner Wars, so make sure you stay tuned on the channel for more of those. I probably will create a Time to Return reviews playlist, also a Power of the Primes one, so make sure you stay tuned for all those reviews, and I think that's it, so I'll see you.